Okay, so update. What happened just now was what happened just now. I mean, what happened a few hours ago. Okay, what happened is there's this big thunder and raining. It's really raining cats and dogs. So, and somehow the sewer in our garage is not working that well. So, it was flooded. Our garage, our basement garage, is flooded. Was flooded. So we have to turn off the electricity, so it wouldn't electrify anyone and things like that. So that's why the computer actually went down because of it. Even though we have the UPS, but still the Wi-Fi was turned off because we turned off the electricity. So it was flooded. So I have to go down and help, and it was like knee deep, just like deep into my knee. Yeah, and that's really bad because we have lots of stuff. Fortunately though, the stuff that we have in the garage is like mostly empty boxes or things that we don't really need anymore. So not really, there's not really that much of a negative thing. But however, it's still a pain in the ass to clean. It makes us do labor intensive cleaning in the afternoon, where it's like the time where you can get a nap, and I get to play as attorney. But like, yeah, we don't do that here. We have labor intensive things because of the rain. Thank you, rain. So we're going back to the game. Okay, we're back to the game. Last we're here we've already established that the proposed murder weapon, the screwdriver, was found on stage. However, if your hypothesis correctly predict that outcome, it should have also predicted that the metal rim spectacles would be found in the same place. My hypothesis. So that's where we stop. Let's continue. Professor Harebrine, this isn't easy for me to say, but their hypothesis is clearly flawed. Order! Counsel, what is the implication of this? If, on the day in question, the alleged instantaneous kinesis never actually took place, then it's entirely possible that the victim was killed somewhere other than on the stage. In that case, someone other than the defendant could have been the culprit. But my hypothesis is sound. I proved it that day. The experiment was a success. The experiment was proof of all my work. If I could say something here in my capacity as a fellow of the Royal Society. Yes, juror number 4, go ahead. As a man of science, there's one thing I simply cannot abide. And that's fraud. Someone who pretends to be a fellow man of science. What? Wait, Great Scott! I'm suggesting my science is suspect. It's just been disproved, hasn't it? In front of all of us. In In other words, the whole demonstration was a complete nonsense from start to finish. Believe me, my fellow jurors, when I tell you that this man is a heel, a bounder, and a fraud. I say the bracket that machine should be stripped down, truly examined. The machine is the essence of my entire hypothesis. It's protected by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. What the devil is that blasted act all about, eh? Who made up such a daft rule? I don't like the way this seems to be going. What's the best way for me to help the professor? Shit. Should I raise an objection? Professor Hairbrand has yet to perfect his invention. That would be the case, yes. But even so what? Going to such trouble and expense to create a fake machine to display in public, he would have absolutely no reason to do such thing. He had an obvious reason to do exactly that. For the research grant money. If the government was foolish enough to have deemed the man's ridiculous notion possible, he and his conspirators would have received a handsome sum indeed. Conspirators? What would be the value of such grant? 10 pounds? You are an order of magnitude out, madam. 500 pounds a year. Oh, you could link handsome on that much years. Scientists noticed an increase in both public demonstration in the field of science recently, and plenty of scientists arguing with each other to get the largest slice of the funding. People's greed is plenty motive enough for murder, I assure you. No, I haven't deceived anyone. Let's uphold the government. My hypothesis is sound. The science is sound. Please, you must believe me. No matter how unbelievable this hypothesis may seem to you, ladies and gentlemen, the fact remains that the victim was transported instantly to the Crystal Tower, which means that the experiment was a success. Baroque! And therefore, the only person who could possibly have committed this murder is the accused. Baroque! Where is this heading? I have no idea. My lord, if I may. Yes, Lord Van Zieks? The prosecution would like to summon new witnesses to the stand. New witnesses? What would be the nature of their involvement? They were spectators of the demonstration at the exhibition, who were occupying special seats. Eyewitnesses? Very well, the court grants the prosecution's request. I shall very much like to hear from the eyewitnesses to the incident. The prosecution's stance is clear. This experiment was no postage. The accused killed the financier victim there on the public stage before the very eyes of the spectator. Now, my learned friend. Oh, yes? It's time for you to make your own stance clear. There's clearly a flaw in the professor hypothesis. I can definitely see that. But where does that leave me? We shall take a short recess now, during which the prosecution will prepare its new witness to take the stand. As you wish, my lord. Good, in that case, court is adjourned for 20 minutes. We continue. What the... Yes, please. about like before. Wait, trial part 1, trial part 1. Mr. Naruto! What on earth were you playing at just now? Or rather, what on earth were you playing at? My hypothesis, my amazing hypothesis! You've been picking holes in it from the start! Sorry about that. But you promised me! You said you'd prove that dreaded explosion was an accident, not murder! You said you'd keep your precious invention from falling into anyone else's hands! But all you've done so far is try to undermine me! Yes, I did make you a promise, you're right. I said that I believe in you and fight for your freedom to the very end. But I also told you that I was no scientist. I don't understand your hypothesis. The fact is, there's an undeniable flaw in your logic, isn't there? Oh, but if I just run through some equations... Yes, you see, it's because my work is incomplete. Perhaps it is. Nevertheless, a man died as a consequence, didn't he? Oh. You're right. You're so right. It's all my fault. And I have no right to blame you for my failures. I'm a disaster, not just a scientist, but as a human being. Well, that might be a little over the top. And while we're on the subject, what about Barrack? He's being awful. Claiming his old university friend to be a murderer, you mean? He's a disaster, not just a persecutor, but as a human being. Oh, but no, wait. He's the Reaper, isn't he? Perhaps he's not classified as Homo sapiens anymore. Glad that's cleared up. Can I double check something with you? Ah, yes, what? The machine and demonstration you prepared, they were based entirely on your hypothesis, I presume? There was no trickery involved? I drew the plans for the machine with my very own hands. Every line was painstakingly drawn with the firm belief that science is the only future. So yes, it's true that my hypothesis hasn't reached maturity yet, but please, Mr. Naruhodo, you must believe in it. Alright, Professor, I understand. Counsel, defendant. The prosecution witnesses are ready to take the stand. Court is about to be in session again. Make your way into the courtroom, please. Wow, it all hinges on that demonstration. If the professor hypothesis is sound as he claims, it leaves him as the only person who could possibly have killed the victim. But on the other hand, Mr. Sholmes was adamant. A practical implementation such as was attempted by Professor at the Great Exhibition is quite impossible. So really, what should I be trying to prove here? Yeah, what is your stance? Where do you side? Where are you standing, Phoenix? I mean, Ryunosuke? Where are you standing? You're standing in the defense. You're standing on the defense side. Oh, okay. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby reconvene the proceedings of this court. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready for the new witness to testify? The prosecution is ready, my lord. As is the defense, my lord. So, Lord Ponsix, I believe these next witnesses saw the demonstration on the day in question with their own eyes. Indeed they did. And as luck would have it, one of them is a police detective. So the testimony we are about to hear can be considered highly reliable. Perfect, a detective of all people. The prosecution's stances remains unchanged. Though it ended in tragedy, demonstration on the day in question was scientifically sound. And consequently, the sole person with the opportunity to have committed this act of murder is the only one other individual that have been present on the stage at that time, the accused. Thank you, counsel. The prosecution position is clear. So bring forth your witnesses now. Bailiff, show the witnesses in. The witnesses whose proximity to the incident on the day in question will clarify the truth unequivocally. It's Gina, isn't it? Oh no? Yeah, it is. It's Gina. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court to hear. Oh, how do I voice this? How do I voice this? My name is Balthazar Loon. I am the impresario of all the hot air balloons in vicinity of the experimento stage. My name is Wilhelm Gottfried Sigismund Ormstein. What? Wilhelm Gottfried Sigismund Ormstein. I have come to see the great exhibition all the way from my home Bohemia. Ha! I am very rich. Inspector Gina Lestrade, Scotland Yard. I'm a great detective, even Ella Sholmes agrees. I was on security duty at the exhibition and I got to go up in one of them balloons. It was amazing. Gina, again? But she did mention that she's seen the disaster from up in the balloon actually, didn't she? And she clearly loved every minute of it. There were 3 balloons flying near the public experimentation stage when the incident occurred. 2 of these witnesses were in such balloon at the time and saw events unfold from the skies above. You make it sound like they were in the clouds. It was only an altitude of circa 60 feet, very low. Well, you can't see nothing if you fly too high, can ya? 60 feet? About 18 meters then. Thank you for your introduction. Now you will give your formal testimony for the court. Kindly describe exactly what you witnessed, especially those of you who had vantage point from above the stage. It was an incident. Terribly. I am only grateful that my balloons were not damaged. There's this huge bang from the stage, and then the next second, another bang in the sky besides us. And from amid the smoke, a cage appeared out of nowhere. The cage, it fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into a crystal tower. I didn't get a look inside the cage, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower. A most extraordinary collective account, I must say. Could I just clarify something? There's a detail in the witness testimony that I've not heard any mention of until now. Specifically that there were 2 explosions? More precisely, 2 explosions in 2 separate places. Yes. When the demonstration began, the balloon carrying the 2 witnesses was around here. There were other balloons in the air nearby at the time, carrying other passengers as well, to be clear. Then, as power was supplied to the machine for the demonstration, first explosion occurred. The so-called birdcage that contained the victim disappeared from the stage and at a moment later, the second explosion occurred directly adjacent to the balloon carrying the witnesses. The birdcage appeared at the site of the explosion, subsequently to plummet down into the crystal tower. I was very surprised. Suddenly a cage appeared before my eyes with a person inside. The blast was so hot, but I didn't want to miss a thing, so I kept my eyes all wide. So rich. I still have lots of money. Precisely, who is this curious infant? I'm told he is a young noble of Bohemian royalty. Apparently, he disguised himself in order to steal unnoticed into the Great Exhibition. Zah! I'm here in London for a sightseeing trip with my elementary school. We will have the benefit of a child's point of view in the testimony. Do we really need that? When I remove my mask, this is what I look like. Ah yes, I see a delightful face, I'm sure. Zah, everybody say so. Great disguise then. Point is, the testimony of these witnesses further substantiates the fact for the court. Namely that despite ending in an explosion, instantaneous kinesis was successfully demonstrated. And furthermore, that until the arrival of the police, no one approached the crystal tower where the victim fell. Therefore, only the accused who has with Mr. Asman on the stage could possibly have committed the murder. Yes, thank you, counsel. The prosecution's views on the matter are quite clear. So the defense cross-examination now, please. Yes, my lord. Cross-examination! There were 3 balloons flying above the experimentation stage at the time, I understand. See, all 3 of them, my bellissimi bambini. They are very popular, signor. Some people will pay £10 for one ride. £10? That's more than my annual stipend. £20 a month. That is my pocket money. Royals have all the luck. I got up there for free. I did. Pt2, I work for Her Majesty Police Car, you know. Detectives have all the luck. If they're so popular, why would you only be operating such a small number of balloons though? Because if I have too many in the sky, they would crash into each other. The operators for the balloons were decided by lots, with each operator manning a particular area. See? And the zone above public experimentation stage is the most profitable. The other press studios, they hate me. Thank you, witness. I think the court has a clear picture of the arrangements for the balloon rides at the exhibition. Perhaps we could hear more about what you actually witnessed of the accident. Right, I can feel you in there, my lord. So you actually saw the accident happen from up in the air? Yep. Isn't it amazing what a detective gets to do, eh? I'm telling you, Odo, being a lawyer's a max game. You should join the forces. And we can go flying together. You know me so well. Yes, well, anyway, could you tell us exactly what you saw, do you think? Everything. We saw saw everything, because we were up above it all. That dodgy golf climbing into the cage, and that dodgy professor pulling all of them levers. And that's what it happened. That's when there was that massive bang and the cage disappeared. Just like that. You're describing the moment when the subject's body was decomposed by the electricity, I believe. I didn't know what to make of it, but then there was another bang right in my ear. I looked around and there was a huge great fireball right next to us in the sky, and there was nothing there before. Master Gods, your memory of the day differ. Main teacher at elementary school said that when you meet someone for the first time, you should always use the full name. Yes, what was it again? Wilhelm Gostreich Sigismund Ormstein. Just the four names then? The point is, do you have anything to say? Something to add in response to the Detective Gina Lestrade's last remark, perhaps? Oi, get it right, Odo. It's Inspector Lestrade. Why does everyone have a problem with how I address them at... That is not what I saw. Oh? There was a second explosion and it was right beside our balloon. That is true. But I'm sure... Which is why I say in it. 1 minute there was nothing there, and next a massive explosion. Main teacher at elementary school said that when someone else is speaking, if you are rude enough to interrupt, you will have the most awful life imaginable. Are all opinions brought up to be so full of joy? Oh shit, what is that? It's a bug. Wait, okay? There's a bug in my room, so I need to kill it. Okay, now it's killed. Hopefully it's killed. Okay. Hopefully it's killed. Just before the second explosion happened next to our balloon, I clearly witnessed a green balloon flying in the sky. A green balloon? Hey, what? I never saw nothing like that. Well, I did. I saw it and you cannot say I didn't. I will complain the council. I will cry and scream. My testimony is the truth. I am the Bohemian Prince. You cannot say it's a lie. That is not allowed. Playing the bleeding royalty card, Archer. Typical. Says the orphan who likes to remind people she works for Her Majesty Police. In that case, young man, I must ask you to amend your formal testimony. In the interest of cordial national relation between Great Britain and Bohemia. Green balloon, you say? Are you sure about that? Mata! Of course I'm sure. I'm a proud Bohemian prince. All these questions are making me boring. I think you mean bored. Ash! English is very annoying. The language is of my countrymen is far superior. Ragazos, it is very wrong to lie. Lie? Flying balloons never explode for the same reason the planes never explode. It is logical. Please tell me that doesn't mean logical. If you insult me, you insult all of Bohemia. Would I will have the army come and shoot all those stupid balloons out of the sky, all of them. Here you are, Your Highness. If only our international incident were so easily resolved. Now that peaceful relations have been restored here in the courtroom, perhaps we could return to the testimony. Did you also see the moment that the cage materialized, Mr. Lu? No, I did not see an explosion myself, however. The cage just fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower. This is weird. Did you see that actually happen? No, in reality I do not. I saw after it hit the tower. There was a grand confusion around the stage. I ran to see what happened. I was terrorized by the idea that one of my balloons had crashed. I suppose they are his lifeline. But when I looked up to the sky, all my precious balloons were still there. I saw it though. I saw it slam to the tower. After all, I'm a detective now. Then tell us what you saw, Inspector Lestrade. That's what I like to hear. Oh man, there's another bug. There's another bug. There's another bug. Hey, use your head, Odo. How could have been me? I was up in the balloon, weren't I? Right. So, cause I weren't available, it was the boss who had to let it over there. He was getting shoved and kicked all over by the panicked inspectors as he tried to steal off the scene. It was a real sight to behold, I can tell ya. Amazing. Poor Inspector Gregson. So anyway, I couldn't see the cage that well because of all the smoke. And I didn't really want to see, to be honest. I was scared of me out of wits. Keep it together, Inspector. The prosecution really is asserting that the demonstration was genuine. But what if it was actually some kind of switch-around trick instead? That would mean that the victim was never actually on the stage in the first place. The two explosions would have thrown everyone watching into a panic for sure. I think I need to find out more about what exactly people saw at that time. Oh, no bugs! Green balloon. Okay, green balloon. Is it this? I think it's this one. Wait, save first. Save first. Save B. I think it is this one, isn't it? No, it's not. Oh my god. No, it's not. Okay. Let me load. Load, please. Thank you. Green balloon. Says was next to Oz. But there's no balloons. Huh? What are you saying? That's contradicting. Is it this one then? Is it this evidence? No, it's not. Okay. What is it then? But it isn't like... What is it? the sky like a stone crashed into the crystal tower. There was huge bang from the stage, and then the next second another bang from the sky beside us. Green balloon that was next to ours at that time. There's something about this. Maybe I have to examine this first. No, why? Why do you think like that? Oh my god, Junosuke. There's nothing else to explain. How about this one? What is this? Is it not a... Ah, there's some sort of lever here. It's a crossbow. What is this? It looks like a cross between a bow and a gun. I think it's probably used for the same thing too. Okay, it's a crossbow. I think we already know it's a crossbow, please. But what is it? What do I need to do? What is it? Is it this? No. It shouldn't be this one. Of course it shouldn't be this one. Are you kidding me? Why would it be that one? It's this one, isn't it? But I don't know how to present it. I did what I presented, but it's not in the right statement, I guess. Is it? It's green. Maybe if I press it again. Mata! What is it then? Maybe we try to present the evidence, the green cloth to every statement. Maybe that will work. Okay, we'll try that. We'll try presenting this evidence to all the statements. Wait, that's correct, bro. That's correct. It's correct. Oh my god. You said that all three of the balloons you had operating at that time were undamaged. See, that is correct. If they had been caught in the explosions, it would have been terrible. I wonder if you might know what this is. I think it may be. See, part of balloon, a burnt piece of the fabric of the envelope. Sorry, the envelope? Pardon, that is a large round part of the balloon which becomes filled with old air. It is made from very thick fabric lined with rubber. You do not want it to rip when you are in the sky. Just as I thought. This piece of code was found near the experimentation stage. In other words, as Master Gods testified, a grain balloon did explode that day. Hey! If all the balloons in the sky above the experimentation stage belong to you, Mr. Loon, then your statement that they were all undamaged clearly contradicts the evidence. Maybe everyone on the board was killed. Oh no, having to spend 10 whole pounds for the experience. How awful. Seems to me like those crashed 50%. The instantaneous kinesis did occur, but after the explosion on the stage, the point of materialization shifted to a location occupied by a balloon. Causing the balloon to explode? Yes, imminently possible. An unfortunate traffic accident as it were, but it changes nothing but the pertinent facts. This, I cannot accept! Why not, Mr. Loon? You are suggesting that I am a liar! That person died in a balloon accident! There's no need to get fired up, Mr. Loon. The victim was the sole fatality that day. That's right, and I prove it! Balthazar Loon is not a liar! There was no such balloon in the sky. It is not possible. You're saying it's impossible? Why? This court has more important matters to discuss than the number of balloons that were operating that day. But we cannot ignore the fact that nobody appears to have known anything about this other balloon until now. My lord, the defense calls further testimony from Mr. Loon. I concur. There is clearly more to the truth here than meets the eye. It's imperative that we clear up the issue of this phantom balloon, I feel. Witness, you will give supplementary testimony about the balloons you were operating at the exhibition. Ah, grazie, my lord. Grazie, grazie, grazie. As I said, Balthazar Loon is no liar. Every balloon I had on the sky landed safely. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an explosion, what a catastrophe! But you can't get away from the fact that a burn up bit of coal was found at the scene, can ya? The corpus at the yard record probably some debris thrown from the explosion at the stage. This stupido ragazzo is mistaken. My balloons have the red and blue zigzag stripes anyway. So your assertion is that the balloon this child saw was not one belonging to you? Si, exactamente. If he even saw a balloon in the first place, I do not like the sight of it. It is very bad for business. I have a good mind to sue the land of Bohemia. Oh my god. If you take us, we will fight back. It will be for our war. What happened to our war? Mr. Loon certainly don't appear to be lying. But that doesn't change the fact that the testimony and evidence are contradictory here. If the defense is unable to find fault in the witness statements, the court must consider them the truth. Think long and hard on that, my learned friend. The situation had clearly changed now. I have to get to the bottom of what happened here, no matter what it takes. counsel, you may now cross-examine the witnesses. You couldn't just have forgotten one, maybe? Senor, I might not notice if I was given one Atlantis and one was missing. But we are talking about 3 enormous balloons. Do you believe I could make mistake about something so grande and expensive? They took the liberty of having Inspector Braxton check this gentleman's warehouse. I have the report here. Clearly says a total of 3 balloons. It would appear no mistake has been made then. Surely Miss Lestrade could have been sent for such a menial task. What? Me? I'll tell you what, I told the boss, East End kids like me can only count up to 2. Obviously it ain't true, but the boss bought it and said, and have to go himself in that case. Huh. It would be quite a catastrophe if they fell to the ground for any reason, I think. On that note, Mr. Moon, tell me, what is it that keeps these balloons in the sky? Are you an idiota? Sorry? That is like asking why does the candle burn bright? It burns bright because it burns bright, and the balloon flies because it flies. What else? Huh. That must be Italian for I don't know. There are 2 types of flying balloons. Hot air balloons and gas balloons. Hot air balloons works on the principle of hot air being less dense than cold air. Whereas gas balloons derive their lift by using a gas that is lighter than air. See, and the balloons are filled with the magic gas, I believe. Hydrogen, lighter than air, but highly explosive. Good lord! I do not permit smoking of the cigarettes in any of my balloons. The magic gas does not like fire. Even a small spark of the static electricity could cause the entire balloon to explode. What is the matter with you, senor? All that comes out of your mouth is explosion! Explosion! I tell you, my balloons are perfectly safe. They have to be, or I cannot eat. None of my balloons exploded that day, I am completely sure. But if you still stay while that is what happened, you must show me the proof. Alright, so Mr. Loon had 3 balloons in the air that day. If none of them were damaged, then what was that one that exploded? I was surprised to find that piece of fabric still at the scene, actually. Didn't you search the area surrounding the stage for clues? Nah, I'm not into picking stuff off the ground, me. Always work out way better dive into people's pockets instead. So much for the new career path. Mind you, the boss was on his hands and knees picking up all kinds of rubbish from the floor. Thing is though, the cage went crashing into the crystal tower, didn't it? So that's where most of the investigation was going on. Even so, I would have thought someone from Scotland Yard would have gathered it as evidence. Cool, listen to you. You stumble across a bit of a balloon and suddenly you're the best investigator in the world. Pardon? Well, you ain't got a badge, have ya? Like this one. I could arrest you with this if I wanted to. I wouldn't put it past her. Come to think of it, there was talk of some scorching on the ground at the meeting we had about the investigation. There was considerable damage to the stage and surrounding area was. Yeah, some of the couples watching the experiment were caught in the blast and injured. Good job the old contraption didn't kill over, eh? I hadn't even considered that. It seems that there was a great panic after the incident occurred. Nevertheless, the police shouldn't have missed a torn piece of the envelope from the balloon. Inspector Gregson can expect a repercussions. Like me swiping all fish of chips, eh? That meant sole pleasure. None of this matters. That scrapped balloon envelope means nothing. Niente. Oops. As I thought, Mr. Loon's testimony just doesn't quite add up. That young Bohemian boy claims to have seen another fourth balloon, but Mr. Loon fundamentally denies the possibility, and it's hard to imagine the man in charge could be mistaken about the number that were in the air. Still, this inconsistency must tell us something, I'm sure. You mean the color is wrong? Si, senor. I do not have any green balloons in my warehouse. And yet a piece of green cloth was found at the scene, and it's unmistakably from the balloon. Well, I do not know how that came to be. For the sake of argument, let's say that the green balloon did explode above the stage. You couldn't therefore conclude that it happened on the day in question. Why not? There have been recreational balloon fights over Hyde Park before the Great Exhibition. One could have exploded on some earlier date, unfortunate as I'm sure you'd agree. You believe it may have been from some earlier balloon accident that predates the exhibition? Si, exactamente. As the senor say, it is not from one of my balloons. Clearly this little ragazzo from Bohemian is mistaken about what he saw. Is something wrong, Master Gotts? It's Master William Godrich Sigismund Ornsteins! It was on the tip of my tongue. Yeah! Something is very wrong. I know what I saw. What's the green balloon there? I swear it all over Bohemia. You can speak as much as pet language as you like, but it changes nothing. If you do not have evidence, ragazzo, then I must tell your parents to punish you, eh? Perhaps we'll let the judge decide when it comes to the punishment. Evidence. What is this evidence? To give a simple example, young man. A photograph, for instance. Some tangible proof of what you claim. Well, why didn't you say so sooner? I have the photograph here. Good gracious! What? I had not been up in the balloon for a little while, so I was very excited. Took lots of photographs of the Crystal Tower, of the Bohemian exhibit, and the streets of London, and the hotel cellar, the balloon, and the ingenious Kinesis experiment. Did you take pictures of that? Da, one picture. Really, you did take one. But the one that was right in the balloon was not interested in boring experiments. Never mind that. Can you show us the photograph? Of course, and then you will see that I'm not lying. That I really did see a green balloon. Oh, it's black and white. Well, I see you are all so shocked to speak. Yes, I think shock is indeed the word, young man. Perhaps you cannot see that it was a green balloon from this photograph, but that is not my fault. That is not the fault of the stupid person who made the camera. That is one very Bahamian cry. Very well, the court will accept this photograph as evidence. It's not my fault. It's the fault of the person who made the camera. Well, never mind. I'm sure you have plenty of wonderful Sepia moments, memories to take home with you. In any case, when exactly did you take that photograph? Well, it was on the day of the big explosion. You don't say. When the previous shutter released, there was this very loud bang, and a hot wind rushed over my face. That means this photograph was taken a split second before the explosion occurred. Well, if you ask me, this black and white photograph changes nothing. I could not give the flying V. Lovely language you have picked up. Wait. The balloon in the photograph doesn't have a passenger. The balloon in the photograph doesn't have a passenger, so it is contradictory to what he said, right? Where is it? This one. Yeah, it doesn't have any passenger. So it shouldn't be. Wait, someone from here shoot the balloon, I think with the crossbow. Huh. Why would you do that, actually? Igiari! Unfortunately, the photograph master cannot tell us the color of the balloon, but it can tell us something else. Something crucially important. What? It shows that the picture balloon wasn't carrying any passengers. Oh my goodness, you're right! But surely all the balloons would have been carrying passengers. There would be no sense in it otherwise. See, there are for my pleasure for seeing the view. My balloons only fly with passengers. Which tell us that the picture balloon isn't one of them. So when the incident occurred that day, there was a fourth balloon in the skies above the experimentation stage. The mysterious green balloon. Why, I know nothing, niente. I can only tell you one thing. If this balloon was not carrying passengers, then it was not one of mine. Oh, look at that balloon. There are legal tradesmen everywhere you care to look. Clearly, one such entrepreneur decided to capitalize on the opportunity presented by the Great Britain exhibition and managed to operate balloon flights on Mr. Loon's patch without him realizing. See, the competition trying to steal my profit. I did not notice because of the experimento that went wrong on the stage. This fourth balloon exploded at the very same moment as Mr. Asman was beamed from the stage below. Right, so them scraps that fell to the ground after and left them scorch marks. They didn't come from the stage at all. It was bits of the balloon training all down. But because no one was in it, it didn't get no attention. A mysterious fourth balloon carrying no passengers, silently floating over the experimentation stage. This photograph shows us nothing more. A stray balloon carrying no one and operated by some rogue trader. Clearly it has nothing to do with the case. Its relevance does elude me, I must say. The court has seen sufficient evidence and heard ample testimony already. The prosecution calls for this trial to be concluded. Really? Have we really got to the truth yet? No, I cannot let this opportunity slip away. The jurors' minds are made up, and not in our favor. What else can this photograph tell us? Is there nothing more that we can learn from it? There's more. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, wait, please don't give your decisions yet. The photograph of the Master Gods may be well hiding one other vital clue. What's that? A vital clue! We're well past the point of mere possibilities. Time for definitives now, so tell the court. What exactly does this alleged clue on the photograph? Okay. It's the cause of the explosion. We can reasonably assume that the pictured balloon was destroyed in the searing heat of the explosion. Duh, that's right! Duh! It's both not my fault! Evidently. Because the birdcage from the kinesis machine materialized in the sky where it had been flying. And the balloon being filled with flammable hydrogen instantly and explosively ignited. No, that's not what happened. What? It would appear that this photograph requires close examination. Counsel for the defense, you will highlight the location of this alleged clue in the photograph for the court. Of course, my lord. If you look closely, it's plain enough to see. And what's shown is linked to another piece of evidence we have. The crossbow. In a way that leads to an unbelievable conclusion. The clue that heavily suggests that the real reason the balloon exploded is... The timing of this photograph can only be described as miraculous. If you look, you'll notice there's a bright white line that appears to point directly at the balloon. Most likely a ray of light caught incidentally on the film. I'm afraid I cannot see nothing of the sort. If you look with the magnifying glasses, my lord, it becomes clear what the nature of this bright line really is. Goodness, what is that? Undeniably some flash of light, yes. Oh, golly, do you think it might be lightning? But it couldn't have been a finer day. I believe we may be looking at fire. A ball of fire heading straight for the balloon like an arrow. Indeed, even to my aging eyes, it would appear to be a flame of some sort. My word, are you suggesting this flame struck the hydrogen gas that filled the balloon? That's absurd. The balloon would have been 60 feet above the ground at that time. No flame could possibly have reached such a height. Actually, in my opinion, that a particular piece of evidence found at the scene reveals how, and that is exactly what did happen. What evidence? If such evidence exists, Consul, then for goodness sake, present it, man! There's bugs. Why there's so many bugs? Why there's so many bugs? Right. This was found hidden at the foot of the small ornamental tree near the scene. Good lord, is that the crossbow? An arrow dipped in oil and satellite could have been shot from his weapon, sending a flaming arrow straight into the hydrogen-filled balloon. Are you suggesting that crossbow was used to deliberately? Blimey, you're right! That circle light in the photo looks like just like an arrow, doesn't it? Then the explosion of the balloon it was. Very likely the result of a flaming arrow from this crossbow igniting the hydrogen gas inside it. No! Order! Order! Counsel, this is an extraordinary supposition. The aim was to cause the balloon to explode. The shooter could have used a gun, of course. However, there's an obvious reason that would have been out of the question. The noise of the discharge, of course. That's right. By using a crossbow, the projectile could be fired at the balloon silently. Well, yeah, if someone had gone off an exhibition ground, it would have caused a real panic. But with the big explosion, there was a very big panic anyway, no? I don't like this. I should be pleased to have found a possible new explanation for all this, but something feels wrong. Do you understand the implication of what you're saying, my Nipponese friend? If a flaming arrow did indeed hit the balloon, then obviously it would have exploded. And if the birdcage appeared from the cloud of smoke that ensued... What? Wait a minute, what are you really saying here? I don't get it. Was the birdcage beam up into the sky after all, or what? My goodness me! Now I understand. That's what the sinking feeling is about. I think there's a good chance that the birdcage was actually concealed inside the balloon all along. Oh no! So it's all fake? It's all fraud? Is that it? All the experiment was a fraud? There's no going back now. The horse has bolted. Let's assume I said that the birdcage was hidden inside the green balloon from the start. On stage, when the experiment was started, the birdcage is in the instantaneous kinesis machine disappeared in a cloud of smoke. At that moment, the flaming arrow was fired from the ground, causing the green balloon to explode and drawing the attention of spectators to the sky above their heads. From amid the smoke, the hidden birdcage that appeared to fall down and crash into the crystal tower. Wait, so if that's the case, then it doesn't make any sense because if that's how it is, then how is the real Asman get there? Because we saw him in the beginning that he entered the birdcage. I don't know. This good grief! This is ludicrous. What you've described is no science experiment. It's child's play. Contemptible display of stage magic. What Mr. Sholmes and I said the experiment was a scientific impossibility. In which case, this is the only way to explain what happened that day. And in any case, the victim's body was found inside the birdcage in Crystal Tower. And if the instantaneous kinesis didn't take place, how do you explain that? If I may put in a word as a man of magic myself, such apparent discrepancy can easily be explained by simple deception. Juror number 3. All that would be needed is doppelganger, someone who looks very similar to the victim, Mr. Asman, and having this other man appeared on the stage in front of the show as a body double. Yes, of course, so in fact. Mr. Asman must have been inside the birdcage that was concealed inside the balloon right from the start. That balloon would have been filled with hydrogen. Anything hidden inside it would have been scattered to the four winds when it exploded. No one would ever have embarked in such a risky venture. Not necessarily. The explosion force of the balloon gas would very much depend on the mixture ratio. Juror number 4! The juror actually helping! What? Flying balloons are rarely filled with pure hydrogen, but a mixture of other gases such as helium as well. Helium on its own doesn't explode, but by controlling the gas mixture ratio, the explosive force can be altered. The mixture ratio? Obviously, the victim's body would have suffered some burns that would be unavoidable. But not such an extent as to render this whole obscene charade impossible. So everything that happened can be explained logically and scientifically. The explosion that engulfed the stage at the start of the experiment was no accident. It was all part of an elaborate deception to make it appear that instantaneous kinesis had occurred. Well, good to me. And if we accept that this is what happened, it means that the victim, Mr. Asman, was never present on the public experimentation stage to begin with. In short, he couldn't have been killed by the defendant who was on stage in the full view of the entire time. This will be very hard for the prosecution to counter. Lord Forensics cannot credibly maintain that Professor Harebrine is a suspect now. It's Professor Harebrine, isn't it? I knew it. Mr. Naruhodo, I appreciate your efforts. Thank you. Professor. But you can stop now. Just keep your mouth shut, please. Sorry? What's all this about, Mr. Harebrine? I, Albert Harebrine, hereby confess that it was me who stabbed Mr. Asman. Yes, it was me with my faithful friend and partner, Andrew the Screwdriver. What? What are you doing? Order! 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 Defendant, explain the sudden confession. Professor Harebrine, what are you talking about? It's what I've said all along. I must protect my hypothesis and my precious machine. You stand there and claim it was all a trick and all an elaborate prank, but where's your proof? No, you'd have to examine the machine if you wanted to prove it, but then it will be all over. My beautiful hypothesis will be laid bare. I mean the ingenuity of it. It's clear that you drew the plans for the experiment, but you didn't actually build it. It's quite conceivable that you are duped, Miss Professor. Fair. Yes. I'll cooperate. I'll do whatever you say. I'll swear it. So please ensure that the Special Dispensation of our Scientific Equipment Act is adhered to and protect my creation. Pray forgive that the discourtesy of failing my hallowed callous at this critical juncture. Here's to my learned Nipponese friend. What? And his upcoming attempt to clarify the defense's position in the light of the accused's confession. Do you intend to formally assert that the experiment was nothing more than a conjuring trick? Because the moment you do, the Special Dispensation for a Scientific Equipment Act that protects the professor's invention will cease to apply. The prosecution will then demand a rigorous examination of the machinery involved in the order to establish the truth. Oh shit. However, if you acknowledge that the machine is genuine and instrumental in the victim's murder, and Any chance an investigating will be crushed, and the confidentiality of the professor hypothesis preserved. Well, Counsel, what is the defense official position on this matter? Oh my god, no, I don't know! I don't know! Shoot you? Oh. But there's no way to do that without implying the professor's guilt. Do I protect my client's life by asserting his innocence, or do I hopeful my client's request but see him condemned? Either way, I cannot avoid betraying his trust. You've been silent long enough. Isn't talking your trait, my learning friend? Or has all knowledge of English escaped your confused Nipponese mind? Mr. Naruhodo! There's no escape here. I have to make a choice. But that's an impossible one. I have to give up something. But what? The defense asserts that the defendant's instantaneous kinesis machine was in fact... I don't know! I don't know! Let's save first. Can I save? Okay, can. I don't know. I want to face the truth. It's the truth. This is the truth. No, Ryunosuke! No! No, I cannot say it. My client placed his faith in me. I just cannot let him down. What must I give out on? It's not the question you have to ask yourself here. It's what can I protect? Hello again, Mr. Naruhodo. It's been far too long. Susato-san? But what are you? Hiya! Ah! My first Susato's takedown in 6 months. There'll be time to talk later, Mr. Naruhodo. For now, we must concentrate on the task at hand. Which is working out not what I have given up on, but what can I protect? What I can protect. Professor Harebrine. Ah, yes. Yesterday you told me that the science is the pursuit of truth. Well, my job is to pursue the truth too. Yes, of course. And personally, I believe that you didn't stab Mr. Asman. I think you've come to realize something yourself too, haven't you? That your experiment and the machine you built with the victim are questionable. The truth behind that is what we must both pursue now. So you finally opened your eyes. What? And as for you, Albert, you cannot ignore this any longer. Having heard my learned friend's assertion, don't you have something to say? Baroque! Lord Van Zix. Gosh, I've never heard him speak that way before. In truth, there is one thing, something I've remembered that was of relevance. What? On the day it happened, just before I began the experiment, I saw a man near the stage. A man holding that crossbow. I beg your pardon? Professor, did the man have any distinguished features? What did he look like? Taller than me and thinner than me, with straight hair, straighter and whiter than me. Let me see, one less lens than me too, a monocle, a rather stylish black monocle. But one thing in particular will help to positively identify the man. You see, I know him very well. After all, it's the engineer who built my invention. We knew it. It was the engineer. He is the murderer. What? He built the machine? That's right. Mr. Asman introduced him to me a year ago. He's a man by the name of Enoch Dribber. What? Enoch Dribber. Enoch Dribber! Does this name mean something? Members of the jury seems flustered. Not a name any scientist wishes to hear. That means an abomination. Not a name any conjurer wishes to hear either. Who on earth is he? I'm afraid this isn't the first tale of this nature that I've heard in scientific circles in connection with that name. There's talk of another flamboyant experiments that turned out to be nothing but stage trickery in the end. Obviously, the rascal is after the government's research grant money. When magicians are in need of money, I have heard of them resorting to these underhand tactics. Some acquaintances of mine with experience of such things have mentioned Enoch Drebber's names before. The man is both an engineer and a magician. Yes, we're dealing with an unparalleled confidence trickster here. That's Enoch Drebber for you. Oh my goodness. Of course it's gonna be the engineer who murdered it. So it's true then. My invention. My great machine. It was just a grand illusion. Considering what we've just heard about Mr. Drebber's character, I'm sorry to say that sounds increasingly likely. Even though no one else believed it, I wanted to. I wanted to believe that machine would function exactly as my hypothesis predicted. Which is why you were so opposed to it being investigated, I presume. I knew that if the machine was examined in details, its construction would give away my hypothesis. Obviously, I didn't want it to happen, but at the same time, I knew that if it was found but nothing more than a trick than a work of deception, then everything I worked towards, all my research, all my dreams, my whole life would be over. I was terrified at the prospect. So you really have no idea then, did you? But the true nature of the machine was willed, and the true nature of Mr. Drebber. I never questioned anything. I didn't want to question it. It's entirely possible that Mr. Asman and Mr. Drebber were working together to use you as a means of fraudulently acquiring the research grant money. When I announced my invention to the crowds that day, it was the finest moment of my career. I pulled all the levers and turned all the dials in exactly the way Drebber had described. When the smoke suddenly started billowing out, I panicked. I didn't know what was happening. But I really don't know how the whole illusion was made to work. I don't know anything anymore. Poor guy. Poor Andrew. Let me confirm one final point with you, Professor. Do you now consent to the prosecution submitting the necessary paperwork to release your invention from the protection afforded by the Special Dispensation of our Scientific Equipment Act? Yes, please go ahead. I'm very sorry. Oh, he didn't actually do any wrong, but like, it will appear that we shall have to suspend proceedings for the remainder of the date now. Lord Van Zix? My lord, the court has newly been made aware of another party whose involvement in this matter is critical. Yes, Mr. Drebber. Gather information about the man, and if possible, I should like him served with a subpoena. Subpoena? With pleasure, my lord. Now consult for the defense. Yes, my lord. When we reconvene, I shall be looking for one thing and one thing alone from you. Evidence that the defendant is innocent of the crime for which he presently stands accused. I understand. Good. In that case, this court is adjourned until tomorrow morning. To be continued. Oh. I thought it's already to be continued. The Old Bailey, defendants, and the Chell. Mr. Naruhodo! Yes? I'm so sorry! I was wrong, you were right, I tricked you! You trusted me, I dragged you into my mess! Oh, how did I ever come to this? I'm so sorry! Did you really have no idea, Professor? About what Mr. Drebber was really up to, I mean? But what he was really constructing? Naturally! That machine was the embodiment of my hypothesis, of all my hopes and dreams! I had complete faith in it! Alright, in that case, I won't say no anymore. Now, sadly, the murder accusation against you still stands, so we must do as much investigation as we can before the trial resumes tomorrow. Well, thank you for doing so much for me. Mrs. Sato! I'm so sorry for arriving late this morning, Mr. Naruhodo. Arriving late? Didn't you receive my postcard? I want to let you know when I arrive. Postcard? What postcard? I hid it from you, Reno, so it would be a surprise. Well, did it work? I was surprised, alright, especially when she threw me to the ground. Oh dear, I'm so sorry. I was just so happy to see you again that it sort of slipped it out. Maybe we could stick to more traditional display of emotion in the future? Susie's train was late into London's Victoria this morning, you see? But we made the coachman really whip the horse's heart so she didn't miss the whole trial. I was watching from the gallery for a while, but in the end, I'm afraid I couldn't contain myself. Well, I'm glad you didn't. Oh! Having you at my side in court gives me the strength I needed to win. So, I'm, delighted to see you back in London. Oh, you're too kind, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm delighted to be here. I hope I can continue to be of service to you. Of course, so what's brought you back? Did Professor Mikotoba not protest? Let's save all that conversation for when we're back at the home, shall we? You know, I've made one of my most special blinds ever for this special occasion. Oh, Iris, how wonderful! I cannot wait! Sato-san was back in London. It's hard to describe how happy that made me feel at the time. But despite my elation, our tale was about to take yet another extraordinary turn. To be continued. Yes, please. Save. Okay, I think that's enough. This is enough. We'll continue this later on. Thank you for watching Future Me. Thank you for everybody who's watching this. I am glad to actually play this again. Woohoo! We're almost there. We're almost finish this. I think, I don't know. We're halfway there, actually. I think halfway there. It's already episode 3. So yeah. Thank you for being here, and see you guys next time. See you. Thank you. Bye bye.